Hey, I'm NichBoy, and this is Ask Pocket. Now we're gonna kick it straight off with this first question, which comes from Huna, who's in Adelaide, and it's an important one. Dear NichBoy, after watching your live stream of Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection, an issue that was raised in the chat seems as yet unresolved to my mind. Has Pete been milked yet? Yeah, that's a very good question, Huna. He's still looking particularly full. Pete, come see me after this. Our next question comes from Egg Bruce in Newcastle, who has a gripe. NichBoy, currently on iView, Good Game Pocket is up to EP 155, while Pocket News is EP 92. Can we fix them to be the same number? Because 1, a weekly series should never finish on a 2, as it's confusing, and 2, it offends my sense of order. Bruce, you either live in the past or your letter is a little old, because now we're up to Pocket News 106. As for your request for change, I say no. And here's why. Pocket News didn't start until a few months after Pocket Prime, so they don't have the same episode number. Although it's online, iView still works on a traditional program numbers system for the most part. So to change the episode number would cause a ripple effect of pain and confusion throughout the ABC. All I can do is apologize for triggering an OCD attack, so I'm sorry. Moving on to Stacey Cooper in Victoria, who brings up a very good point. Can you please add NichBoy's bio to the About the Show section of your website? Thanks, Stacey. Yeah, what the f***'s up with that, Peter? Internet boy not good enough for your internet website? You're never gonna get milked if you keep that up. And while it certainly is entirely Pete's fault, the back end for the Good Game website is also partly to blame, because it's GeoCities old. It has a Wallace and Gromit theme, guys. You need to enter text via a chisel. If you want to upload a picture, you need to put it between two very thin pieces of tissue paper so it doesn't rub off on the text either side of it. Simply entering new information into it could possibly break not only the Good Game website, but existence as we know it. Is it worth it, Stacey? Is it worth wiping out all of mankind for a bio that will read Nick joined Good Game in 2015 and doesn't wear pants when he records the show? Yes. Yes, I think it is. And speaking of barristers in Darlington, our next email comes from Hagen, a barrister in Darlington. Nick, you are I am your doppelganger. Keep up the good work, handsome. Pick enclosed for verification. Dude, I love your glasses and the bow tie is boss, and I do see the resemblance. You're like Goose and my older, more successful brother who went into law instead of professional game playing and therefore didn't shame our family. Therefore, I propose some sort of Lindsay Lohan Freaky Friday or Trading Places Without the Racism situation, where we swap jobs. You come and play games and I'll send people to prison depending on my mood, as is my understanding and experience of the legal system. No one will notice. Moving on, and Kelly Suttle wants to know. Is Goose's gamertag read as Goose Mangus, Goose M Angus, or Gooseman Gus? Good question, Kelly. I say it's Gooseman Gus. He says it's Goose Mangus. Whose word are you gonna take? Goose did then go on to explain how a series of overlapping in-jokes between him and his high school friends led him to that moniker, but I stopped listening after the first half hour, so it's still anyone's guess. Black Scarecrow, you're up next. NichBoy, how do you feel about Battlefront not having a single-player campaign? Seems like such a missed opportunity. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I've said several times, I actually do enjoy shooter single-player campaigns because I love just picking something up for 6 hours and enjoying the spectacle. But that's not what everyone is looking for these days. And particularly as a company, if you can have a game that has longevity, then it's more valuable than something people play and then put down 6 hours later. Sure, you could do both, but you've got a better chance of keeping your audience by having a multiplayer shooter with no campaign than by having a play-at-once campaign without multiplayer. So if you're going to focus your resources on one aspect of the game, it makes sense, I guess. And it seems to be a bit of a trend as well. Titanfall launched without a campaign, Rainbow Six Siege announced they're not heading down the single-player path, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3 ditched theirs from their 360 and PS3 release. Throw into the mix the rise of MOBAs and games like Hearthstone or Rocket League, and you can see that players are seeking out repeatable experiences where you hone your skills, and we want to play against real people, not AI.
What's he doing? The whole time? Your teammate was rubbish.
That's even coming over to shooters, where once Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike were traditionally top of the pile for multiplayer-only shooters, Dirty Bomb, Overwatch, and Battlefront are now nipping at their heels. I'm a little dubious of how long I will stick with Battlefront, since shooters have never really been my strong suit, and when you fall behind skill-wise, then they stop being an enjoyable place to be. You just die too quickly to actually start having fun. But we'll see. I do agree though that it's disappointing there isn't a single-player campaign, because you could really create something huge and special with that IP. That said, it is DICE doing what they do best, so maybe it makes sense for Disney to just delegate the inevitable story-driven games to another studio. If we don't have a repeat of Battlefield 4's year-long server troubles, I'm sure DICE will deliver a polished multiplayer game which blows everyone's mind, and even Nicky, with his limited hand-eye coordination and muted lust to kill, can have fun. Our final question comes from Muttley Returns. If someone hosted Pocket in your absence and signed off, "My Pocketeers," how would you punish them? I'd make them milk Pete. And that's it for today's episode of Ask Pocket, My Pocketeers. Do you have asks? Send them to my pocket here, or tweet them to me here. Until tomorrow, NichBoy out.